Okay, so I don't want to make this video too long, but this is just going to be a brief update about my abstinence journey and why I no longer want to be open about that part of my life. There are many different reasons, but the main reason is to protect my privacy as well as to protect my relationship. Now, my YouTube channel, here on my YouTube channel, I talk about abstinence. I talk about many different things, and abstinence is a huge part of my YouTube channel, Abstinence Until Marriage, and I will always advocate abstinence. However, now that I am in a relationship, it is just not something that I want to be open about with the public. I want to keep my abstinence journey between me and my boyfriend. I am also fully aware of parasocial relationships, one-sided relationships that people can form with YouTubers, influencers, celebrities, and they tend to become overly invested in people's private lives, personal lives. And I know how people tend to, I'm fully aware that people tend to obsess over other people's sex lives, especially women. And in my previous video, I talked about that, women being obsessive, and they obsess over other women's romantic relationships, other women's marriages, other women's sex lives. And so I definitely want to protect my private life. I have nothing to hide. I just no longer feel comfortable being open about my abstinence journey. My abstinence journey is pretty much my sex life. And now that I am in a relationship, it's not something that I want to be open about. Although I will always advocate abstinence until marriage, I will always be a huge advocate of waiting until marriage. But I just no longer feel comfortable being open about my sex life. So if you go on my Instagram, I have removed 5 years abstinence, 5 years abstinent from my Instagram bio. I completely removed it. And so I am going to keep my abstinence journey between me and my man moving forward. I know that people can tend to be overly consumed by what other people are doing. Like, if I was not in a relationship, then I most likely would be continue being open about my love life. But being in a relationship, that just adds another layer of complexity to things. And being open about my abstinence journey, now that I am in a relationship, opens up the door to scrutiny, opens up the door to judgments, other people's opinions, obsession. And that can create a lot of drama in my relationship, and I don't want that. I do not want any drama in my relationship. I just don't want, I want to protect my relationship as much as possible. And so I do not want to share certain parts of my love life, intimate details, such as my abstinence journey. So I posted on my post tab just to announce that Now that I'm in a relationship, I'm not sure if I want to continue being open about my abstinence journey, and that I will post an update soon once I have made a decision. And I have made a decision, and even months ago I did a video announcing that I was no longer going to share my abstinence journey, and that was long before, that was before I even was in a relationship. I wasn't even in a relationship at that time. But now that I am in a relationship, it makes more sense for me to kind of keep it private. And this is a personal decision. I know that putting this video on my YouTube channel could be, I could receive some backlash, because like I said earlier in this video, I am fully aware of online parasocial relationships where people become emotionally attached to you, and they have this one-sided relationship with you in their head, and they feel entitled to know every little detail about your personal life. And now that I am closing, now that I have made the decision not to share anything about my sex life, my abstinence journey, I know that I could be met with backlash from people. I know that some people may unsubscribe from my channel, or they may troll me, but I don't care. I've made my decision. I always do what is best for me. I always do what is in my best interest. I took some time to think about what I want to do moving forward, and I have made my decision. And I'm sure that people are not going to like that I have made the decision to be more private about my sex life, because people, monitoring spirits, need information. They cannot move without information. They need information on what is going on in your private life. And then parasocial relationships, people that have formed these delusional relationships in their head with you, they feel entitled to know every single thing that is going on in your personal life, in your private life. And no one is entitled to know what is going on in your private life. You have a right to not share certain details about your love life or about your personal life. You have a right to stop talking about certain things. And so, like I said, I don't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to put this out on my YouTube channel. Moving forward, I have made the decision that I no longer want to be open about this part of my life. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next upload.